Hello and welcome to Living in Reno. I'm Dave Johnson.
And I'm his wife, Sarah.
This time around, we're talking about kind of my personal journey of living in Vegas versus living in Reno and the big differences between the two. So, Sin City or the biggest little city? What are the differences between Reno and Las Vegas? Well, a lot. Yes. I've lived in both. You have just lived in Reno, not in Vegas.
Correct.
You lived in Northern Nevada. We may have to do a living in Northern California versus living in Northern Nevada. We can do that video. But I've lived in Vegas. I worked as a TV reporter and anchor there for just exactly 2 years.
And then he came here thinking he would only be here 2 years, and
yeah, we see who's to blame for that. I'm still here, but I do love it here, and it is quite different, though, living in Vegas versus Reno. So the big thing, we'll start with the weather. I will say in Reno, you're going to find 4 seasons.
Yes.
I would say compared to most of the country that gets winter and summer extremes, we get a tamer version of that, I guess I would say. We can have crazy winters. Winter of 2022 was nuts.
Yes.
But
this past winter was insane.
Yeah, but that was an anomaly. But we do get 4 seasons, which I do love. But in Vegas, you just really get 2. You get extreme hot and not as hot. And people think, well, and I should say it does get cool. If you go out in January, February, it will be cool, but it will be very windy as well. So the weather can trick people and think, oh, it's always at least 80 or 90 in Vegas.
Right.
Not true at all.
And don't be surprised in Reno, too, especially in the summer. We do get windy in the afternoon because you get that heating that comes off of the mountains, and then it mixes with like the cold air at the top of the mountains or something, and it creates wind just about every afternoon.
I thought you were going to give us a 5-day forecast. That was exciting.
I was working on that.
Yeah, that was good. And then also in Vegas, very dry, obviously. They do have monsoon season, so it can rain, but you pretty much get the rain in about a day or an hour, and it can be crazy, a lot of lightning, but again, very short-lived, whereas in Reno, we can have thunderstorms, we can have some lightning, and they're more traditional when it comes to those thunderstorms, where they're not monsoonal typically. It's more of just a spring thunderstorm. So when it comes to the weather, very different, but also both very dry.
Can we talk about the obvious?
Okay, sure, I guess.
Reno and Las Vegas are not close to one another.
Right. Yeah, we're very much on the northern side of the state. As a matter of fact, here's a map of Nevada. You can see we're up at the top left as you look at it, and then Vegas is at the very, very southern tip. So talk about a very different, I don't know, what is that, longitude? It would be long, right? Longitude?
Longitude is...
I think it's the acrosses. Or is the anyway
up and down because it's long.
We're more north,
like a ladder.
Yeah, whatever. We're more north. We're clearly not scientists or geniuses, so but we're more north.
That was really embarrassing.
So you get a much different climate. We are kind of the mountain high desert, and Las Vegas is just the desert.
Right.
So very different.
Very, very different.
Yes, and when it comes to being able to drive somewhere, though, very different, because we can get to San Francisco and the Bay Area within about 4-ish hours, depending on traffic, whereas Las Vegas can get to Los Angeles area in 3 to 4 hours, depending on traffic. So very different areas and very different things that are close by, for sure.
And even different types of desert heat, because yes, Reno is considered the desert, but as you were just talking about, it's 2 different types of deserts. When we moved you out of Las Vegas, we moved
in July,
in the middle of July.
Yeah.
Not smart.
No.
But I remember, because I thought, oh, I'm used to heat, no big deal. I'm used to dry heat. Yeah, I'm a tough girl. Oh my gosh, I got heat blisters on my legs from just moving and, quite frankly, sweating and working around the house, and I got heat blisters because it was so hot.
Yeah, and we weren't even outside that much. It was an indoor thing, so it was crazy that you experienced that Vegas heat. But when it comes to another big difference, the people in both cities, Reno versus Vegas. So, sorry, Vegas. I would describe in a nice way the people of Vegas are in a hurry. Is the best
Okay.
way to put it. Here, much nicer vibe. It has changed a little bit since I've lived here. I've lived here more than 10 years now, and I've noticed the change where, and I don't know why that is. I'm not going to speculate or say, who they are because I don't know. But it's still a very nice area. People are very nice. They'll hold doors open, that kind of thing. But it's very different living in Vegas.
And I will say that people who move here comment on how nice people are. I worked at a startup, a tech startup, and a lot of the people had moved to our area from out of state to work at this tech startup. And people commented on how nice community members were. People will hold the door open for you. And what ends up happening is at first, especially if you're moving here from a larger metropolitan city where people are in a hurry and maybe a little bit shorter with one another, don't have time to be nice, don't have time for the pleasantries, that'll probably be you for the first 6 or 8 months if you live in Reno, and then Reno starts to rub off on you.
Yep, for sure. And I will say too, when it comes to kind of related to that, you definitely have a community feeling in Reno, whereas in Vegas, it's probably different now, to be fair, because I moved away, 10 years ago. And I will say things change since the Las Vegas Golden Knights, which was their first professional team of any sport. And also the Vegas shooting, I think, helped gel the community from the country concert that was going on.
1 October.
Yeah, so that happened, and then the Vegas Golden Knights was right after. And I think there is a much better sense of community now in Las Vegas, but definitely have that in Reno for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to median home prices and what you can expect in the two, vastly different. The recession hit Las Vegas quite hard, right in the middle of a big boom in Las Vegas, and then the Great Recession. I almost said depression. The Great Recession really hit Vegas, punched it in the mouth, and then in the Reno area, we certainly had effects of that for sure.
Large effects,
but not nowhere close to what Vegas had. I actually moved to Las Vegas towards the end of the Great Recession, and there were so many buildings that were halfway done, abandoned all over the place. It was crazy. I bought my house for $138,000 that in Reno today would probably be worth around $700,000 or $800,000. Wow. That's the difference in the prices of homes. So the median home price in the Reno area is close to $600,000 these days, and in Vegas it is almost half that. So the housing costs are vastly different. And I will say, relating to that is the overall economy. They're vastly different. Whereas Vegas is almost all tourism and gaming, Reno is not at all.
It really worked to separate itself or diversify itself away from solely relying on gaming. It used to be very dependent on gaming. And then the Great Recession happened, and our governor recognized that Reno needed to diversify. And so we ended up getting Tesla here, the big Gigafactory. It's just 30 minutes east of us. So a lot of people who live here in our community are working at the Gigafactory. You've got Amazon that has major development here. And then you've got a lot of manufacturing here. We really have diversified our region and our economy in Northern Nevada. So you're seeing a lot different population.
Yeah, Google, Switch, Panasonic, there are huge companies here, and it has really changed the economy here. And then we also have a ton of Northern Californians moving here, which has helped solidify our housing market. But at the same time, Vegas has a lot of Southern Californians moving there, so that's helped their housing, but they just don't have that diversified economy. And when COVID hit and those shutdowns, it really hurt Las Vegas because the tourism, the airport just stopped. Mm-hmm. Obviously, world travel stopped for a very long time. And Reno didn't have near that effect because we weren't so reliant on the tourism and the gaming. So that was a big difference during the Great Recession and during COVID too.
And you'll notice during presidential elections, we're amping up for a presidential election. You mentioned the different populations that are moving into Nevada. And because of that, Nevada is a very purple state. And so, what's a very interesting component about living in Nevada, whether you're Vegas or Northern Nevada, is that you get a lot of politicians and presidential candidates coming here.
Yeah, for sure. Vegas definitely leans more on the Democratic side because of the unions. The unions in the gaming industry are quite strong. Culinary union, those kind of things. Reno is definitely more down the middle compared to Vegas.
It's extremely purple.
Yeah, those are the kind of the main.
And then all the rurals of the state of Nevada are red.
Oh yeah, big time. So those are kind of the political differences. And then when you look at kind of the events that each city brings, we have a wide range of events. I mean, it is all over the place. I will say Vegas events are much more, I don't even know how to put this.
Commercial?
Yeah, and indoors. More concerts, I guess is the best way to put it, more shows, but we have way more outdoor events and unique events.
We can look outside our living room window right now and see hot air balloons floating.
That is the Great Reno Balloon Race 2023. That's every September, so that's one of the great events. We've got the Rib Cook-Off that just happened. We've got Hot August Nights. Art Town, all of July, Street Vibrations, Santa Crawl. I mean, it used to be, it was like Memorial Day to Labor Day, there were events in Reno. Now it is every month there is something.
And a lot of them are free too, which is great for families.
Yes, and that's the next one on the list, families. When it comes to Reno versus Vegas, raising a family in Reno, great. There's all kinds of things for kids to do, a family-friendly environment. Vegas, quite different. Much, like I said, less of a community feel. You can still find great neighborhoods and great schools in Las Vegas, but just it's different raising a family there. It's a much more adult, harsh environment, I guess I would say. So
I would think, and this is just me assuming, so you know what that means, but I would think it would be hard to take a child to a park in Las Vegas just because it's so hot.
Yeah, depend. Well, yeah, June, July, August. Yeah, probably not.
And that's what we relied on this summer when Zach, our son, wasn't in school. I mean, we were taking him anywhere we could just to get him outside and have that, freedom to get out that boy energy.
Yeah. So yeah, parks. There's all kinds of parks in Vegas, but yeah, they're going to be hot if it's the middle of the summer. But I played flag football there. I did all kinds of things that were outdoors. It's just that most you'll find it's a very different when the sun sets.
Oh, okay.
Versus daytime, because you just kind of don't go out there in the day. Another big thing I learned in Las Vegas, you don't keep anything, and I mean anything, in your car. If you keep a ballpoint pen in your car in the summer, I mean, it'll melt or explode.
Really?
Keep a can of soda in there, it'll explode. I mean, it's that hot.
Wow. I believe it. I believe it.
CD on your dashboard. Good luck, gone.
Well, who has CDs anymore?
True.
How old are you?
I know, but I lived there 10 years ago. So, but again, anything in your car. Reno, not like that at all. It'll get hot, but you're not going to.
It'll freeze in the winter.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Don't keep a can of soda in the car. That's for sure. Last thing on the list is the vibe. And I will say, when it comes to telling people, from somewhere not even close to here, the vibe, definitely get a, oh my gosh, that's so cool, you live in Vegas reaction. Reno, not as much, but living in the two different ones for me, I always describe it as the people are harsh and the weather is harsh in Las Vegas. Here, you don't find either. So
move to Reno.
I hope that answers your question in the nicest way possible to my old friends in Vegas.
Yeah, you're going to get some hate in those comments down below.
Sorry. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. We certainly appreciate it. And have a good day. Don't go to Vegas. Live here.